We start in Somalia, where the death toll from Friday's twin bombings in Mogadishu has risen to at least 38. Dozens of people have been wounded and they are being treated in various hospitals. One attack took place at the gates of the presidential palace, while the second blast struck near the offices of the National Intelligence Agency. Officials say 5 of the attackers have been shot and killed. It's believed several soldiers are among the dead. They were guarding the street next to the presidential palace. Authorities say, however, most of the victims are civilians.
I was on the other side of the road when the blast occurred last night. I saw many people who are either dead or wounded. I thank God that I personally survived the blast, but many people got hurt.
Indeed, a brazen attack there in Somalia. Let's get you an update on that story. I'm joined on the line from Mogadishu by CGTN's Abdulaziz Bilo. Abdulaziz, of course, as we understand in latest reports, the death toll has risen rather dramatically from 18 to 38 people. What more can you tell us about the casualties and, of course, the aftermath of this attack?
Well, Lindy, just as you've said, most of the victims were civilians. And the reason as to why that figure has risen sharply is due to the fact that being on a Friday, most people were coming from Lido Beach, a popular hangout here among the country's young people. That's where they go every Friday to enjoy and take photos. So the explosion happened, the first explosion rather happened outside the intelligence headquarters. And this is a strategic junction that connects the people who are going to the beach and people who are coming from the beach, as well as the intelligence headquarters. So the initial figure that people died on the spot there were 18, but that number has risen sharply due to the fact that most of them succumbed to the injuries in hospitals, including some cases that doctors are still struggling with to survive. Now, as you've said, 5 attackers were shot dead by police, and all of them, they were disguised as police officers. That's why they tried to force their entry into the country's presidential palace, as well as the National Intelligence Headquarters. So that incident, according to security forces, it came to an end at around 9 p.m. after the government forces executed all the 5 attackers. Now, among the dead also include 3 soldiers, 2 of them from the National Intelligence and 1 from the presidential elite guards who was manning that checkpoint belonging to the Villa Somalia. That's the seat of the federal government here in Mogadishu. Now, what we know so far that resulted to this number is the fact that the militant group Al-Shabaab used 2 vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices to detonate at a security checkpoint not far from the presidential palace, and one that they tried to force their entry into the country's intelligence headquarters. So for now, the situation is back to normal, but then again, the attack raises serious concerns here in Mogadishu, Lindi, and it comes just 4 days after the Somali Council of Ministers appointed a new intelligence chief and a new police commissioner who are tasked with leading the fight against Al-Shabaab and stabilizing Mogadishu.
Abdulaziz Bilo joining us there live, rather on the line from Mogadishu. Thanks so much for that update. And as we heard there, a sharp rise in the death toll due to the strategic timing of that attack, a time on a Friday where many young people were in the city centre around those buildings that were the target of the attack, many succumbing to their injuries, and that's brought that death toll to 38 people so far.